Welcome back to Herp, Hooray, a weekly internet transmission. I'm your host, Jason Rossi. We are simulcasting on RossiReptiles.com, Buzzsprout, and don't forget to subscribe and download us on iTunes. This week's special guest is part of a dynamic duo. They might be young, but age ain't nothing but a number. You might be saying to yourself, you're too young to do this. Well, our next guest is here to blow that theory out of the water. I'm pleased to introduce Justin Sloan from Sloan Reptiles, www.sloanreptiles.net. Justin, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be on it.
Well, I'm glad to have you guys, man. You guys are some good guys in the industry, and definitely wanted to get you guys' thoughts and, takes on some things that's going on.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely enjoy being on the shows and getting to educate people about what we do and tell a little bit about what's going on over here for sure.
I mean, that's a lot for sure. You
yeah.
guys got a lot going, and we'll get to that. But first off, Sean Bradley from Exotics by Nature suffered a life-altering accident. Is there any updates or, website information, links that people can, get in touch, in contact with them, be able to help out?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know a whole lot about, what's going on at this exact moment, but if anyone wants to go and donate any money to Sean, they can do that. There's a Facebook page that's Support Sean Bradley and Exotics by Nature, and you can go on that on Facebook, and then there's a link on that Facebook page that you can click on to donate money to him, since those medical bills are going to be pretty darn big. And then I think the last time I heard, he was in surgery today, and I think they said it went okay, and I think he was done with it by now, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So anyone that wants to contribute to that and help him out, he's a great guy. He's been a great friend to us, and I think it's time to give back to him a little bit.
Awesome, man. Just wanted to get that out there first and foremost. On top of all issues, that's most important.
Yeah, and he's had a rough last year, that's for sure. I don't know, for those of you that haven't heard, he lost his son earlier in the year, so he's had a rough year, that's for sure.
I did not hear that, man. That's horrible.
Yeah, so that happening and then this happening, I don't know how much more could go wrong in that amount of time.
Well, let's hope no more,
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, let's switch it up and get into some snake talk now. Why don't you break down the whole hidden gene Woma ordeal? I feel you guys, broke it down pretty good on the forums. I frequent the forums, and,
yeah.
Your guys both seem to, just highlight everything and make it so easy to understand that, I feel, if you just break that down for us real quick, people have
for
a
sure.
good
I
idea
can
what's going on.
definitely do that. So, for those people that don't know, hidden gene Woma and Woma are two different morphs. The Woma gene, which is kind of similar looking to the spider, is a totally different gene from the hidden gene Woma. It just happened to be that Kevin brought in two animals at the same time, and he thought they were both the same, so he called both of them Womas. And then after breeding them for a little bit, he figured out that one of them was different than the other, and he wasn't quite sure what was going on with it, so he labeled one of them hidden gene Woma, and they labeled one of them Woma. And then after he kind of figured out what was going on with it, he produced the soul suckers and all that crazy stuff. He kind of just kept that name, and so it makes it a little bit confusing for people, but there's no, hidden gene Woma is just a single codominant gene. There's nothing like, you can't separate hidden gene from Woma. It's either hidden gene Woma or it's normal when you breed hidden gene Woma to normal. So it's just like breeding spider to normal. 50% should be spider, 50% should be normal statistically. So when you breed hidden gene Woma to normal, you'll just make hidden gene Womas and then what appear to be normals. So the Woma gene will not do all that crazy stuff like soul suckers and infernos and all that weird stuff that the hidden gene Woma is doing, so you need the hidden gene Woma to do that kind of stuff. And there's a pretty big difference in price, too. So if you think that you're buying a hidden gene Woma for a good price and it's like $300 or something, chances are you're not getting the real deal. So definitely look out when you're buying hidden gene Womas, because I know there's some people out there that didn't purposely sell them as womas, but, you know, there's a few out there that are floating around that might not necessarily be the real deal. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, I could go into a lot further detail, but that's pretty much how, from my understanding on how the project started with Kevin.
All right. Yeah, I remember from your post you gave a few little key things to look out for. Why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners what they can do to look out for?
Yeah, definitely. The biggest thing that, like, to distinguish the two from one another is the womas look a lot like spiders. And the hidden gene womas kind of don't have that, like, banded look to them. I mean, they have a little bit of a banded look, but the womas have more of, like, that spider look to them, that kind of, like, webbing pattern. And then hidden gene womas also have a lot of that flames, that, like, orange and red flames that go up the sides. And then as they start getting older, the hidden gene womas will get this weird white and, like, pink and red fleckling on the side of them. And it almost looks like a calico in a way, but it's definitely not a calico. And they do that, like, as soon as they're born, you don't really see it, and then after a couple more sheds, it starts popping up, and you can see it a lot better. And then the last thing I would say is the head. On a woma, the head looks a lot like a spider. Not exactly like a spider, but very close to a spider. And the hidden gene womas have a very distinguishable head. It doesn't really have a pattern or anything. It just kind of, when you see one, you kind of know that it's a hidden gene woma. And like I said, the spider, or the woma looks a lot like a spider, so it's pretty hard to mix the two heads up. But yeah, I mean, that's basically the gist of it. Just look for that flames and then the white flecking on the side, and then the head that doesn't look like a spider.
Once you know what you're looking for, you know, it should all make sense.
Yeah, I mean, after you've seen a few in person, it's pretty easy. When a picture pops up, you can say, that's hidden gene woma, that's a woma. So after you see a couple of ones that you know for sure, hidden gene womas, then it's pretty easy to tell from there.
Well, I was lurking your guys' website. Why don't you tell our listeners about the pastel Mojave hidden gene woma? That thing is.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a surprise. So there was a couple of people that did the Mojave hidden gene woma last year, and it came out looking a lot like the soul sucker, which is the hidden gene woma to lesser, but it wasn't as extreme as the soul sucker. So it was definitely like it reacted in a weird way. But then this year when we added the pastel on top of that, it seemed to like just make it totally crazy. And so we lucked out. We bred hidden gene woma male to a Mojave bumblebee female, and we happened to hatch out that little triple girl out of a 4-egg clutch, so that was pretty cool. It's definitely one of the coolest babies we've produced so far.
Male or female?
It happened to be a female, unfortunately. We would have liked a male, but, you know, can't complain when you're hatching out something so cool looking.
Yeah, man, I agree with you there. So about this black pastel vanilla cream.
Yeah, that was another one of those surprises that we kind of just, you know, that's the only thing vanilla other than the dad that we have in our collection. We got a black pastel vanilla from a local friend a few years ago, and to be honest with you, it's kind of an ugly snake. I'm not gonna lie. He kind of just sat in our rack for like a good 2 years, and we had a fire female last year that we were like, oh, I mean, it'd be cool to make a vanilla cream, so we just thought we'd throw that male in with the fire, and we were like, if we hit the triple, cool. If we don't, it'll be cool just to hatch out some vanilla creams. And we happened to hatch out the triple, and she's one of those snakes that when she's born, she's cool looking, but then when she starts shedding, she totally goes through a color change and doesn't even look like the same snake. So that was a really cool surprise. Never expected the black pastel to do that to the vanilla cream.
Yeah, man,
that was really cool.
That's a home run right there, man.
Yeah, we'll have to post some updated pictures of her because